Men who don't speak often are frequently misunderstood. Their silence is sometimes mistaken for disinterest, shyness, or even coldness, but in truth, there's often much more going on beneath the surface. These are men who choose their words carefully, who think deeply, and who live with a quiet strength that doesn't need constant validation. One of the defining traits of men who don't talk much is their observant nature. They tend to pay attention to their surroundings and take in the details that others might overlook. Instead of reacting impulsively, they reflect before responding. This thoughtful approach means that when they do speak, it's usually with intention. Their words carry weight because they're not just talking to fill the silence. While not every quiet man is introverted, many do prefer solitude or intimate settings over large, noisy gatherings. They often find socializing in big groups draining and may feel more comfortable in calm environments where deeper, more meaningful conversations can unfold. These men are also incredibly comfortable with silence. They don't find it awkward or feel the need to constantly fill the space with chatter. In fact, they can find peace in the quiet, using it as a space to recharge, reflect, or simply be present. This kind of composure can be reassuring to others, even if it's not always vocalized. Deep thinking is another key characteristic. Quiet men often spend a great deal of time in their own minds, processing information, considering possibilities, or reflecting on life. They may not share everything they're thinking, but that doesn't mean they lack insight or depth. On the contrary, their inner world is usually rich and complex. They also tend to be excellent listeners. Because they speak less, they listen more. They notice what people say, and what they don't. This attentiveness often makes them empathetic, supportive, and surprisingly insightful, even if they don't always express it openly. Emotionally, they may appear guarded, not because they don't feel deeply, but because they express themselves differently. They show love, concern, or loyalty through action rather than words. This can sometimes be mistaken for detachment, but those who know them well understand their subtle ways of caring. In relationships, quiet men often value quality over quantity. They aren't usually interested in shallow connections or constant small talk. Instead, they're drawn to relationships where trust, depth, and genuine understanding matter most. They tend to be loyal and protective of their inner circle and are selective about who they let in. These men are usually self-sufficient. They don't rely on constant social interaction to feel fulfilled. They're content with their own company and often pursue hobbies, work, or interests that allow them to enjoy solitude. Their independence can be a sign of emotional maturity and inner stability. Privacy is also a strong trait. They rarely overshare and prefer to keep their personal lives and thoughts close. They open up only to those they truly trust, and even then, it's often in measured, intentional ways. Lastly, men who don't talk much are often calm and composed. They're not quick to react, argue, or get caught up in drama. This calmness can come across as maturity, a grounded presence in a world full of noise. So, if you know a man who doesn't speak much, don't rush to fill his silence or misread it. There's often wisdom, strength, and a quiet confidence within him that speaks louder than words ever could.